Hello, friends, and welcome back to Storytime with Nana, Lynn, and Glow. I'm Glow, and we are going to be continuing our read of Another Treasure by Nancy Mel. Elizabeth hurried. Elizabeth hurried up next to the agitated woman. I don't understand, she said. Anita shook her thin fingers at her. Please, I beg you, gather it up now. She looked at the table and the shelves full of items. Where are my things? Some of them are here, but some of them are already sold. Already? How could they sell them? How could you sell them so soon? Elizabeth had enough of the drama. You gave them to us to sell. Anita took several deep breaths and seemed unable to respond. Elizabeth turned towards her sister and said, Continue preparing for opening. I'm taking Anita into the house to see if we can sort this out. And for goodness sake, remove everything we still have of hers. Don't sell anything else. I need it immediately, Anita demanded. We're gathering it as we still have. Everything else is inside. Bring everything inside once you've gathered it, Martha, Elizabeth instructed. She began to lead Anita towards the house. Of all the time she had to go on a silly rampage, why now? Why the morning of the official opening? Maybe she could calm Anita down and figure out what was really going on. When they are going inside, Elizabeth guided Anita over to the kitchen table and helped her into a chair. She broke out one of those banana Mary had purchased for breakfast and put it on a small plate, poured her a cup of coffee. Thankfully, it was still hot. Once she put the cup of coffee on the table in front of Anita, she sat down next to her. Now tell me what happened between the time you brought us your family's belongings and this morning. Anita took a sip of the coffee before deeply sighing and trying to trust. It was a letter in an old family Bible. You found a letter that upset you. Can you tell me what it said? I'll do that better than that. She reached into her pocket and handed the fold. Then she handed it to Elizabeth, who carefully opened it. My dearest daughter, it read. Although I have left you my worldly possessions to you, one of them is worth more than anything I could own combined. It's a true treasure. I know you love my riddles, so I want you to leave one more. Here it is. The lightning sparks, a feather flies, and your mother's sister's child makes a dirty pie. You'll find yourself quite confidential. Open your eyes and see the truth. Hidden in the shadows and very sentimental. When you find the treasure, you'll see why it's so valuable. Although it's been in our family for many years, it's time for it to find a new home. It certainly won't have any trouble finding a buyer. You should be well taken care of for the rest of your life. I just remember how much I love you, dearest Anita. It was signed, your loving father. Why would he leave you a riddle? Why wouldn't he just tell you what the treasure is? He was suffering from dementia towards the end, but he really loved riddles. So when I was a kid, he was always making me solve them. I figured he made me smarter, but frankly, it only made me crazy. But I couldn't tell him that would hurt him. She shrugged her shoulders. They seem harmless, but it's just cruel. If he was sick, I'm sure he didn't realize how challenging this might be. He probably thought it would be fun. Something to cheer you up after his death. Anita grinned. Well, it's not working. I miss my father, and I might be missing out on the most important inheritance. But why do you think we have this object? She shook her head. I'm not sure you do, but some of those things I gave you consignments where daddies always said should never be sold. I suspect the reason one of them is the item he's referring to in the letter. So why did you part with them because there's hardly any money in the bank. I mean, the house is worth quite a lot, but it won't. But I won't let it go if I don't absolutely have to. It's been in our family for 3 generations. I thought selling some of the more expensive stuff that I had no real attachment to might help. But they've gone to the auction the home, and if it was worth, why would they give them to us, a secondhand store? Anita sighed and brushed her gray bangs from her slender face. I have some possessions for going to auction. Furniture larger, some that I thought no are valuable, such as the family silver. What I gave to you were items I thought that weren't as much as worth, and I hope you would give some money to live on after the auction. Some of this, I might have some Smucker name, but the only wing of our family is a distant relative, famous jelly making one. We can't lay, I can't lay claims to any of their money. Elizabeth nodded. I understand, but how can I be absolutely certain that you gave us the object that your father's loaned you? Couldn't it still be in here? I hired an appreciator to go through everything. There's nothing left of real value. Nothing. Anything near what the father hinted at land. You have to have it. We've sold quite a few of your items, Anita. I don't remember your total so far, but it's a little over $300. How could you have already sold things? I thought today was your grand opening. It is. They were sold the other night. The night of the pre-sale party? The one we invited you to? I knew there was a party, but you didn't tell me that you were open for business. Elizabeth smiled and gave her a tight smile. We sent the flyer that mentioned the folks from the church and the other guests first crack at our inventory. We did very well Friday night. Anita attempted to stay calm, vanished like smoke in the wind, and she said, "You better get back everything out of mine you sold. If you don't retrieve it, I'll sue you for everything you've got, and I can do it. I'll traumatize my cousin Alf. He's an attorney." Well, she saw Elizabeth one last day later and stormed out of the house, tripping over Tinkerbell. She yelled and looked offended. Elizabeth called to the Dutch hound over and called to her. She tried to smooth her injured feelings by putting her down again. She sat in the chair for a while, then she could hear Anita's car start and the tires spin on the road and lay away in the barn. After a few minutes, she got up, headed back to the shop. Mary and Mom were waiting outside the entrance. What's going on? Is everything okay? No, everything's not okay. We have to look at all the items we sold from the Smucker's estate. We put what was left in a box, but Anita's took off before we could give it to her. Give it to me. I'll put it in the house. We can't take a chance of it getting mixed up with our inventory again. Mary hurried inside and came back with a large box which she had gave to Liz. The china in another box, but it's heavy. I'll put it back where no one will see it. We'll carry it in later. Okay, Elizabeth. I'll be right back. As Elizabeth walked to the house, she noticed several cars turning off the main road and towards the barn. People were coming for their opening, which should excite her, but Anita's suspicion and emotional rant had cast a pale over what should have been an exhilarating morning. Instead of simply focusing on opening second-hand blessing, they should be spending their time tasting out everything they would have to spend. They sold the belongings from the Smucker's estate. After placing the box inside the house, Elizabeth back outside. She pasted a smile on her face, and she walked to the barn. Why had all this had to happen today of all days? Why was the goal of keeping the family business alive doomed by the fail before it even started? And that is the end of the chapter. I hope you guys truly enjoyed that chapter and are eager is the word I'm going to use. Eager to know what's going to happen next. I hope that you guys stay to the end, because I have some sources that say that the ending's going to shock us all. Until next time, this was Another Treasure, a mystery from Lancaster County, and with Storytime with Love. Bye!